heard that one before.
But it's for Halloween.
Give me a moment. Welcome to another edition of Stories from the Front Lines, where we bring you the most scintillating tales of our brave fighting men as they protect freedom and democracy across the globe. As always, Stories from the Front Lines is brought to you by Kent's Cigarettes, a lighter, smoother smoke than any other leading brand. Kent's Cigarettes, with its patented asbestos filters for a safer smoke that doesn't lose the flavor. Kent's Cigarettes, a lighter, smoother smoke. Tonight's tale comes to us from the journals of Private Robert Morrissey, an Army infantryman stationed with the 101st Airborne at Fort Campbell in the Tennessee-Kentucky border. Soon, Private Morrissey will be shipping off to the fighting overseas, and his story gives us great insight into the minds of our fighting men as they ready themselves to smash the enemies of freedom. Reading tonight's story is a dashing young man named Cris Skelton. This weekend, Sergeant Thomas wants me to paint my room, replace all the ceiling tiles, dry clean my Class A uniform, and disassemble, scrub down, organize, and lay out all of my TA-50 gear on my perfect barracks bunk. TA-50 gear equals rucksack, Kevlar helmet, canteens, pistol belt, Alice pack, flak vest, boots, and so on. All the stuff an infantryman has to carry around on the day on marches. So far, I've procrastinated. I have a lot of stuff I have to do before tomorrow. I don't have any paintbrushes, money, or energy. Everyone else gets to enjoy the weekend. Today, as I was driving around listening to Sinead O'Connor on my way to the advance payday cash advance place, I stopped for a hitchhiker and drove him to Hopkinsville, Kentucky's VA Center. He gave me $20. We listened to the Rolling Stones. He didn't like Sinead O'Connor. I didn't give him the chance to have an opinion. He heard Rolling Stones from the minute he stepped into the car, and I made sure of that. Our conversation was not great. He was a Vietnam recon infantry soldier who toured in 67 to 68. A huge man with broken teeth, a suitcase on wheels, and gray hair. I didn't get a really good look at him. He was on his way to Michigan. He said his name was Dwayne. I didn't have to go to the cash advance place. I was supposed to go home and start cleaning, but instead I watched An Officer and a Gentleman at the Army's Recreation Center. I watched the movie by myself in a cubicle. That movie is a piece of shit. So was Heartbreak Ridge, starring Clint Eastwood as a 60-something platoon sergeant who leads a team full of 80s Army rascals out of war in Panama. Or Grenada or something. They save American students and kill South American terrorists. I'm fascinated by terrible military movies from the 80s. Oh, shit. 2 weeks prior, most everyone around here treats me like a special needs case. I'm catatonic, unresponsive, quiet, hardworking, careless, unengaged. My superiors don't expect me to re-enlist or accept any of this life in my heart anymore. They use me as a body and a number to be counted. They call me stoner and talk about how I must have been tampered with as a child. I don't let it get to me. I keep my emotional distance because that's the only free choice I'm allowed to make. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that that makes any sense. I'm so exhausted all the time. Today, our division general, General Cody, stepped down and retired, so we had to participate in this division-wide change of command ceremony. Our battalion drew weapons out of the armory, marched and formed in ranks and files, joined the 50 or so other battalions on the division parade field, and listened to that Toby Keith song, Uncle Sam rings his bell and shoves a boot up your ass. Over and over again, for as long as it took for everyone to completely finish marching in ranks and lining up on the field in symmetrical rows. I was one of the thousands of people who listened to the departing general congratulate everyone in advance for winning the upcoming war. He thanked us for our hard work and devotion. The ceremony took about 5 hours. We had to stand with our rifles slung over our shoulders and our faces, bodies motionless and still. We kept our bodies suspended on our feet in a state of alert stillness. Everyone had a rifle with a bayonet attached to the top of the rifle. Thousands upon thousands of people with sharp knives and rifles. A sea of identical people in the heat of the mid-morning, all living identical lives in the same language, Dickbird, shitbag, PT stud, sham master, tighten it up, dress right dress, break for chow, fuck your battle buddy, etc. The guy in front of me is short, and it's hot in the field in the middle of the day, and I'm falling asleep on my feet, but worried I'll collapse on top of a bayonet. I've almost fallen off my feet several times. I wish the new general would just stop talking like a can of syrup. Blah, 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 blah. A few weeks ago, I took leave and traveled to visit some of my high school friends in New Orleans. When I came back, I told everyone at Fort Campbell I'd accidentally had sex with a woman in her late 50s, early 60s, somewhere around there. That was a lie I thought would be funny. I don't see the humor anymore. It was funny in my head until I said it out loud and everyone believed me. The real story is this. I was out at a bar in New Orleans with a bunch of my high school friends when I passed out on the stairs next to the men's room. I woke up and there was an older lady seated across from me at some table. We started talking and I told her I was in the army. She kissed my forehead and walked away. It was a sweet gesture. I did not have sex with her or kiss her on the mouth. This has been a production of Stories from the Front Lines, a Kent Cigarettes feature. Tonight's episode was produced and directed by Cris Skelton from a story by Robert Morrissey. We thank you for listening and invite you to remember, when you want a lighter smoke, a smoother smoke, a safer smoke, make the switch that 2 million people have already and switch to Kent Cigarettes.